Going long.
New information coming in, and Forbes magazine, your magazine, has reported this too, that the state of Delaware and Washington, D.C. canceled the registrations for Omar's husband's investment firm, Rose Lake, for not paying its back taxes. We saw it owed more than $400,000 to Delaware and nearly $1,800 to D.C. She's claiming it's worth $25 million from less than $1,000 a year before. How can his investment firm not afford to pay taxes? It's supposedly worth an estimated $75 million to $150 million. This is really weird stuff.
Well, weird is not the word for it. There's another word for it called crooked. And that's why we have to have an investigation into this. As you know, the Biden administration started examining her finances and that of her husband. And so surprise, surprise, that investigation went nowhere. But it's amazing how people can go into Congress and then become these entrepreneurial investing geniuses where they come in. She had under $1,000 of net worth and her husband didn't have much, and suddenly now they're multimillionaires. Is there a money laundering operation here? And in terms of the firms themselves, they have a sketchy background. That winery in California that she and her husband own, where did that come from? Where's the wine there? And nobody can seem to find it. So there's a lot of smelly stuff here, and that's why in the American Dream, her version of the American Dream is the Al Capone version of the American Dream, Tony Soprano version of the American Dream, and that is steal it from the taxpayers.
Whoa.
Yeah. Apparently,
what's up with Forbes? He's not happy.
No. And apparently, one of her main offices for the fund is WeWork.
What is that? One of the NGOs?
Shared office space you rent and part-time office, whatever. So you can have a mailbox and you can go in there and set up a laptop. So.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, but usually in these cases, some Republicans have a similar thing and make a phone call and it goes away. Call me when she's arrested, because both sides have this going on, and it's legal apparently. There's a lot of Pelosi stuff on the other side, on the Republican side as well. And usually these cases, the reason they disappear is because Republicans have it on their side as well, and people make some phone calls and these things dissipate. I appreciate smearing her, but until she's indicted, I will be surprised. However, somebody else got arrested, Eric, from what we understand overnight.
Well, today. well, last night.
It was last night. Yeah, here in L.A. at the Grammy. I'm just setting it up because of the Grammy Award parties is why he's here.
Sure. But it wasn't at the Grammy. I mean, to be technical,
no, the Grammys are Sunday night. The Sundays,
okay.
Sunday night. He is at parties, going from party to party with his friends in LA, Brentwood, and Compton, and other places, which is why he was here, just to explain that part.
I'm sure that makes sense. As a matter of fact, do I have that pool? No, I don't. But okay. I thought it was funny because, Don Lemon is not alone. He didn't come alone to LA. He brought his husband, who of course is a white man. The same type of thing that he criticizes more than anybody on the planet, the wicked, bad white men.
It is kind of weird that he would marry a white man with their wickedness. How do you get the special dispensation when you are white to pass among the Negro left? How do you get that dispensation?
Hierarchy.
Is it just hierarchy, Eric? Or
I think so. The gay must wash away the white.
Well, it's not
I
even
don't know how
always gay. It could be just straight black as well, who allow certain people to pass.
Well, then that would be, there's a lot of black males who like white women, and there's black women who like white males. Kamala Harris, when she's black, I mean. So,
what do you think happened to this guy? I mean, how did they arrest him, in your opinion? Because 5 federal judges passed on the request to issue an arrest warrant. So, how did they do this?
They did it through a grand jury, and to be fair, when you're talking about the 5 federal judges, you're talking about the magistrate, and then you're talking about the appeals, and it went to an appeals court.
Yeah.
And in the appeals court, one of the opinions even said, "You haven't exhausted all your recourses. We shouldn't be handling it," and that's kind of fair. An appeals court shouldn't be handing out the arrest warrants. It should be something lower.
No,
they do have the grand jury. They got the grand jury, so now they've got their indictment.
Well, do you think that every time there's an arrest in the United States, we should have to go to a secret grand jury, convene one, and get an arrest to get an indictment for every single person in the country, or can we arrest people?
It depends on where you are. I mean, this is the world we live in.
No, I'm saying this is the world we live in. Then this is going to be problematic going forward. Is the reason I'm mentioning it. If we're going to get retribution against some of the enemies who did these things previously, or even other criminals, do we have to have convened a permanent secret grand jury to attempt to extract indictments for every single arrest in the country? If the judges continue their democratic ways,
I mean, you have to battle with what you have. So I would convene a grand jury and hit the higher level figures. And then, hopefully the fear, like literally if the judges are corrupt, I don't think they should be immune. Why not investigate them?
I agree.
If they're breaking the law, you could do that. So I'm just saying go higher. And so it might be a pain in the ass right now, but you know what? Then get the bigger fish with the grand jury, and it's worth setting up a grand jury for big guys anyway, and then go down from there.
What do you think is going to happen to him, in your humble opinion?
He'll probably ultimately skate.
Yeah, no, I agree, but I don't mind this happening. Do you?
No, I mean, really, I think it's a humiliation, even if it's just spending time in jail overnight. It's showing the fact, I don't know, that you have to be careful in what you're doing. You can't just blatantly go along and ride along with everybody else. Maybe it'll make them be a little bit more careful. Maybe that'll help with some of the equal time doctrine you're talking about, things of that sort. Maybe it'll help at least, watch your back. Make sure you're on the up and up, that there's no real question.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't care if I've said this repeatedly. I want arrests, and for me, this was the first high-profile arrest. It took over a year. It's on minor charges, possibly the FACE Act, or as Eric said, possibly the Klan Act, or conspiracy is now being bandied about to go into there's a video that was uncovered today of him saying, "We are going into this church." He said "we" a couple of times. Inclusive in the video is the word "we," meaning him too. Not I'm covering an event that's going into this church. He says clearly in the video I saw today that it's "we," but whatever. The point I'm trying to make is we need hundreds and hundreds more of these. Hopefully this is the first one to come down the pike. And their offense is to scream bloody murder over the top, level 11 for anything. That is the offense of the left. And, if Republicans back off, then they are losing the battle, and they are using tactics that are effective. They're going to scream at 12 and 13 level on this particular case, the reason I'm mentioning it. And we cannot move back one freaking inch. And in fact, I hope there are additional arrests in other areas simultaneously to offset the news of this one.
I agree. And by the way, one of the lawyers earlier pointed out, I was like, oh shit, that's a good point. It wasn't only that he said "we," he also said "they." So he separated. So he was claiming this group as in the "we," and then the churchgoers were the "they." So it actually went even further.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully that he'll be arraigned this afternoon. This is 2:39 LA time. He's being arraigned now, not so far from my house. So what's his name will be over there? Abby Lowell, who handles these type of cases for him. And we'll see where this goes. Gavin Newsom is now suing Dr. Oz, Eric. This broke this afternoon for civil rights violations and racism. Dr. Oz made a video like that kid in Minnesota did, driving around Van Nuys the other day, where I have to go tomorrow. He was driving around Van Nuys, and in one building there were 48 hospices in one building, and Oz was saying that's a lot of death. It was above a Armenian bakery, and Oz pointed out that these are probably Armenian mob fronts. So because he said Armenian mob fronts, Gavin Newsom took the opportunity to sue him for civil rights violations. This is such a weird one, Eric, and so fast, because I think Newsom knows that the machine is now coming for him and his fraud world. He issued a statement that he has suspended 220 licenses in the past couple of years for hospices, and we're on the case. A similar tack was taken in Minnesota, Eric, saying we're on this. This is old news kind of a thing. But that dog's not going to hunt. And California is Minnesota on steroids. It was great to see Dr. Oz driving around making that video because of the connection to Medicaid and Medicare fraud that he oversees.
I didn't know Armenians were a race.
Well, okay,
I'm just saying.
Get into the weeds.
Yeah.
He's Turkish. So what Newsom is doing to exacerbate the Turkish-Armenian feud is he's accusing Dr. Oz of targeting Armenians.
Oh, I get it. So he's a young Turk. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Give me a break. All right. Well, I was thinking, I imagine, though, at least Armenians do have people who showed up who died. Unlike Maine, you were talking about that.
Well, Maine and Minnesota, apparently Maine has no recorded dead Somalis. Somalis or Somalis? Somalians. Is it called Somalis or Somalians?
I think it's Somalis, but
okay, but whatever. They're not dead. They're not dead. Apparently, they did all these actuarial charts and talked to ambulance drivers and hospital people, and apparently they're not dying, Eric. And they are dying, but apparently they want to keep getting the benefits of food stamps and Social Security, and they're not reporting their relatives to have passed on to the Somalian afterlife.
And I thought it was a good diet of what is it, bananas and I forget,
plantains or whatever, that worm grub giant bowl that Mayor Fry.
Oh, he loved that. Yeah.
Remember when he was digging into that bowl of grub?
Yeah. It's so good.
Apparently, there's no recorded deaths of these people. So this could get very interesting for multiple reasons. Like, A, what are they doing with the bodies of their dead loved ones? Where are they putting them? And B, obviously, Social Security is going to come after them for that kind of fraud, which is going to open up a whole different can of grub. And they will, again, it just gets better every week with these people. It really does.
Well, I don't know if I've heard that lobsters will consume just about anything. So,
you think they threw them in the bay? Or what the Minnesota one? Oh my God! Well, there's 10,000.
Well, I'm talking about Maine. I don't know about
Maine. Yeah, but
okay. Well, you're talking about the Great Lakes.
In Minnesota. There's 10,000 lakes, so they could be at the bottom of those lakes. You're right.
Well, and then there's one of the Great Lakes. I think it might be Michigan, but I don't remember which one. That is so deep and so cold that it kills the bacteria. So supposedly bodies don't actually float up to the top, and that's not that far down the road. I don't know.
Yeah,
there's possibilities.
Wow.
But you know who is not facing death or death benefits, at least not for a while, and that's Luigi Mangione.
I want you to explain this to me, this attempted breakout. Well, first of all, let's cover the judge, the woman judge who's got a crush on him, wants to meet with him, I believe, probably privately in her chambers at some point. She has ruled that woman in the cartoon drawing on the left.
Here.
What's her name? Margaret
Garnett.
Garnett has decided on her own that a jury of his peers cannot call for the death penalty because she has taken it off the table before the case even gets to trial. Here's a guy with a silencer. Here's a guy stalking this man. Here's a guy on film and video allegedly executing this man. And this woman has decided on her own to remove, of all things, Eric, the death penalty in this case.
'Cause he's
I
cute.
mean, I've never heard of this in my life.
Supposedly, and I don't want to botch it up. I'm not the lawyer, but it has something to do with the stalking charge is not a charge of violence, which
Okay,
is
well,
weird.
he's
I
got
guess
other
the death
charges.
penalty has to be tied into the violence, but the stalking, which is the federal charge, isn't the violence, so they can't do the death penalty on the stalking or something like that. It's kind of a weird deal, but that's what I understand it to be.
Well, that's not very understandable, but nevertheless, she must have had some crap rationalization legally for her pretzel logic, because you can't just willy-nilly decide no death penalty for you. I like the cut of your jib, Mangione.
Yeah.
And so apparently did a man from Minnesota, Eric, AKA a Minnesota man who's shown up to help him.
Posing as an FBI agent to break him free, which is pretty brazen. I'm like, whoa,
dude,
I haven't heard of
isn't that a
thing.
felony by itself?
Oh yeah.
He was inside the Brooklyn House of Detention.
I think it's multiple felonies, because fraudulently presenting yourself as an FBI officer that's a felony in of itself. Attempted jailbreak or assistant, that's another felony. I mean,
how about he shows up with the pizza cutter and like that long fork that you would use when you're doing your grill stream? His two weapons of choice were an industrial pizza cutter, I guess in sympathy to Mangione and his Italian roots, and also a giant steak fork. I don't even know what you would call it. And then he apparently, when asked for ID by prison officials, took out all kinds of different documents, papers, library cards, different IDs. And I guess they put him in jail right then and there.
Well, that's what I was wondering. I was going to say, if all else failed, maybe he thought he could be in custody with Luigi. Maybe he's got a crush.
You know what? Maybe that's how he thought he'd break him out. Now, he's supposed to be in court tomorrow, today or Monday. Maybe he was in today because of that death penalty thing, but he's supposed to appear. Maybe they're going to try to spring him when he goes to court in downtown New York. I mean, they may try this. Don't put anything past them. The Weather Underground used a freaking helicopter to try to get out the acid guru, Timothy Leary, when he was in prison. So do not put anything past these people, folks.
Or even the foreign thing when they stole all that art by, driving up their own bucket truck or whatever it was to go into the building. So
right. No, I'm just talking about prison breaks. There
Sure.
have been some incredibly successful prison breaks in American history, especially in the political realm. So do not, be caught sleeping on these people, because they are dedicated and psychotically obsessive. This might have been a way to test the defenses, Eric.
that could be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also, I mean, a lot of modern prison breaks involve, someone on the inside, who has a crush on them or whatever.
Yeah,
relationship.
that's true. But in this case, in the political world, it happens a lot of times during the transfer or in the court. As I don't have to give you a whole list, but there's quite a few when it comes to court stuff. The George Jacksons, the shotgun guys taking the judges hostages. There's a long history in American political left of violently trying to get somebody free.
Well, that's the weakest point. If you think about it, transferring a prisoner from one place to another is probably the most dangerous,
especially
vulnerable.
With ice and snow out there, Eric.
Oh yeah.
All right. Huh?
Yeah. And he seems to be potentially tied in with terrorist groups himself. So
of course,
who knows what kind of armaments they have or what have you.
Yep. I said it at the time. The group is in Minnesota, and it is a political action group designed to dox and bring violence against health executives, a lot of them based in Minnesota, which I think is a nerve center like Delaware is for corporate, signing up and Minnesota has a lot of the headquarters of the top health care companies in the United States.
You notice that everything's damn Minnesota lately? I mean, everything.
You know, somebody said that to me last night. When did
There's-
they become this
Ugh.
this crazy capital of the United States? It happened quietly, I guess. You know,
I think it was Tim Walz. I feel like
could be.
You know, having this idiot at the top and just pretty much letting everything go bonkers underneath. I'm not gonna say the problems weren't already there, but I think it just exacerbated, and it is just crazy because I mean, look at our our headlines. Here we go again. We've got Don Lemon. Where did he break in the church? Minnesota. We have Alex Reddy, Minnesota. Yeah. Renee Good, Minnesota. Mangione, Minnesota. And here we go.
Today, what's this one here? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
This is an interesting one. This is it was after we did ours, but Minnesota cops begged Walz and Pulse to let them work with ICE, say they could have prevented shootings. This guy here is the president of the police union.
Wow.
In there, and he's saying, you know what? Look, our cops are trained on urban rioting warfare. We've had a lot of problems. If you just let us do it, you're going to have fewer people die. And they're starting to speak up, and I thought that was a good sign.
There was a news story coming out that I think it was from Nick, what's his name, Sartoff, or Nick, I want to say Hentoff, guy who was trapped in a car in Minnesota.
Oh,
Sorter. Yeah, Nick Sorter. Yeah, I'm sorry. That Minnesota ICE agents have been told to stand down on non-violent, non-criminal illegal aliens and not make arrests. Well, that's a huge break. That might have been the deal that these two have made, Walz and the mayor with Trump.
Well, the biggest sign I saw was that Keith Ellison, who is no friend to the right, has agreed to open the prisons and transfer over.
I'd like to see that. I'll believe it when I see it.
Okay, but I mean, at least there's the agreement. It's a step in the right direction, and again, get all that you can, and move on to other places and grab them there. And grab
the main thing, as you pointed out, I mean, that was a quick 200 people they picked up in Maine. There's not a lot of people up there, and they picked up 200 criminal illegals. That's a pretty good haul. I mean, to go into an area that rural type area and take out a couple of hundred of them. Wow. First of all, I want to say the numbers are off the charts.
Sure.
The numbers of it's just staggering. And as somebody pointed out, and you could read about it, as I said, in Peter Schweitzer's book, Invisible Coup, how this occurred. And he traces it back to the Mariel boat lift in 1980 with Che Guevara, and then with Castro. And then Castro talked Noriega into doing this. He talked Chavez and Maduro later into doing this. And he organized conferences, according to Peter Schweitzer's book, which is fantastic. He organized conferences on how to empty your prisons of Tren de Aragua and Venezuela.
It's easier.
Yeah, I know. And sending his gang members there. And in fact, Maduro had either a Snapchat or a WhatsApp program on his phone, and his guy in the United States would send him WhatsApp news clips every time they were in the news during violence. And there was one point where he was doing a live broadcast, and his phone kept vibrating on the desk while he was doing it. And it was this guy, his apparatchik in the United States, telling him with great glee how many crimes this group had committed. And this is not an accident. This was created by Fidel Castro as an offense against the United States and capitalism.
It's brilliant. It really was brilliant.
Absolutely
I'm
brilliant.
Sorry to break it down. We had the wet foot, dry foot program, and he said, "Oh yeah, I got some Cubans to send you, and just empty his prisons." I mean, great idea, and that's why getting these people out of prisons and out of the country. Think of how much damage. I mean, just one murderer, and what they do to a family. It's like it's not just the victim, but it's all the relatives, all the loss, all the suffering, children without parents. I mean, it goes on and on and on.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
mean,
one.
this is civil warable. The whatever their motivation is to defend ICE, whatever Bruce Springsteen's songs are about, whatever their insanity is about, the moral difference in this issue is so enormous as to be at the level of 1862 in terms of morality. And I don't know where it's going to go in terms of fighting. But I do want to say this. The recent nonstop Democratic calls for reprisal and Nuremberg tribunals and hangings and the DA among other people in Philadelphia, Krasner. But this is across the board. Celebrities, Democrats, elected politicians, officials of the Democratic Party, Democratic voters, Democratic officials, all calling for reprisals and retribution once they regain power, as we've heard for weeks now and months. We can believe that they're kidding, or we could take it seriously. What I consider doing right now to take it seriously, because it is so outrageous, so crazy, that when and if they do get back into power, I believe they will carry out all of these reprisals. They're not just citing Nuremberg for fun. They mean business. And what I think right now, what Donald Trump has to do is declare the Democratic Party a terrorist group with an executive order. I know it sounds draconian. I know it sounds like it's going to raise some hairs on the back of people's necks. But there is no other way at this point in American history to deal with this situation other than to actually declare the Democratic Party a terrorist organization. I'm serious, Eric. I'm really serious. This has gone so far off the rails of threats and reprisals and Nuremberg tribunals and hangings and executions. I don't know what else to compare it to. That's not a political party. This is a terrorist organization espousing terrorist beliefs, claiming they're going to carry them out once they get back into power. Having done so previously, I believe the only way at this time for us to begin to move forward, and this is not the final move, this is the opening gambit I'm talking about from conservatives and the right and MAGA, is to have the Democratic Party, through executive order by Donald Trump, declared a terrorist organization and put them on the terrorist watch list. You're going to hear this again, because I'm telling you right now, Hunley. So I'm telling you right now, Hunley, I'm not going to buckle on this. This is where we have to go, unfortunately, because this is off the rails. Off the rails. The time for laughing at their statements is long past. Long past. These people are so crazy that we on the normal side cannot comprehend what they're doing. All we're watching is their violent physical action of attacking people, packing pieces now, sitting with rifles, burning things down. At some point, you put together all the visual evidence and say, this is a terrorist organization. And I believe they have to, with Stephen Miller, when they're calling for the execution of Stephen Miller, Eric, when they get back in power, you have to take these as terrorist threats, because these are not just idle guys in a bar bullshitting. These are officials of the Democratic Party. Krasner in Philadelphia is an elected Democratic official and a district attorney of a major Democratic stronghold. It's about time that they push back with some executive orders regarding terrorist activities, Eric.
It's I'm going to say it's a bit of a stretch, but I see where you're coming from, especially when you consider the Democrats have gone after any term of patriot or anything like liberty or what have you, that there has been a weaponization against the right,
and we've already
seen the right
it
as domestic terrorists. Right,
so
I know there is some of that.
Yeah, we've already seen it in the previous administration, and now they're saying we're going to jack it up when we get back in. You just can't laugh it off like it's not a threat. That's absurd now. Want to go to the syringe attacker? while we're talking about?
We can. I don't know. I don't have
Where
it
do you want
queued
to?
up, but we can talk about it. I mean,
Okay.
sure. I don't.
What do you make of the syringe, apple vinegar, Omar assassination attempt, Eric?
Kind of confused.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't really have a good answer. Here we go. Supposedly he had hinted at town hall plans. Somebody asked me to look at this, and I haven't had a chance to look at her reaction, because they were saying that her reaction was odd, like she didn't protect her eyes or anything, because there were some who were claiming it was a hoax.
When she says calls for the resignation of a gnome, she's looking right at him as if that is a buzz phrase right there. And then this guy comes on an angle to get him immediately. The guy was obviously shit-faced drunk. He's got a long history of drunken arrests, this guy, and his wife apparently is a Democratic operative close to Omar, close to AOC. His ex-wife, by the way,
Right.
of this guy who's got a lot of different baggage on his police record. I believe that they chose the toy syringe as opposed to a water gun because that would inspire too much violent reprisal against him if he had a water gun. They chose this plastic toy syringe to literally squirt water on her, which is what happened. I am going to compare this in a lot of ways to the Pelosi hammer attack of 3 years ago. The hammer became really part of the story. Never really hits him that much or did any damage to him. With the hammer, he's now using a toy syringe. It's the same type of story, Eric. They immediately jumped on it in the Pelosi attack, blaming Donald Trump, and they put the guy away for 1,000 years, which is what's going to happen to this guy because somebody talked him into doing this.
The issue I have is her reaction's kind of odd. It normally, and I'm just saying a normal human reaction, and not, of course, not everybody's the same.
Duck away.
Well, your eye, liquid going on. You don't know what the liquid is, so there's going to be usually some variant to kind of protect your eyes.
Very good point. I think they thought they could use a cup of it, but him sitting there with a cup of fluid would not have survived inspection. So he palmed or pocketed this plastic toy syringe. If you look at it, it's a big facsimile of a syringe filled with this non-toxic fluid. Okay. There's a reason he did it that way, and there's a reason that whoever's handling this guy, who's completely retarded and drunk all the time, was able to talk him into doing this. We'll see where this goes. He's under arrest, obviously, and I think he's going to get the Pelosi treatment, which was similar to the Pelosi incident, which I also believed was staged at the time.
Yeah, I'm not sure on the Pelosi because I thought he was in critical care for a while. Mr. Pelosi, I don't remember his first name, but anyway, her reaction doesn't seem quite normal.
Yeah, I agree with you. The whole thing looks staged. For one reason or another, she came out attacking Trump. Trump immediately called it a staged incident. He's got a good sense of these things, and I think he is correct. Now, we had a nurse named Lexi Lawler, I think down in Florida, who may not be a nurse any longer, Eric.
Yes, actually, I have something to her, but
okay.
I don't have it handy. Let me jump to another story and then can I come back to that?
Go ahead.
Because I wanted to cover, we're still a little bit of trickle of Minnesota.
Okay.
And, you and I were complaining the other day about, mostly me complaining, but anyway, about, how do you work it at the airport? Do you put the things in the tray or do you leave them out? What do you do at the airport? Well, apparently, anti-ICE officials also seem to hate TSA, and they're attacking TSA workers thinking that they're ICE.
Okay, well, this is near LAX. Let me just explain this story to you. This was near LAX, and it was a bunch of TSA and U.S. air marshals actually eating dinner in a restaurant, and one of the bat signals went off, and they were surrounded by these Mexican whales who rolled in with their air horns and loudspeakers, and they had to be freed by LA Sheriff's Department, who came in and rescued them from the mob. and the mob was told that they were not ICE workers and was still angry, probably angry that they were not ICE workers. And they said, people make mistakes even in a mob violence situation. I mean, their answers on the local news were hysterical. Not even apologizing or anything, just saying, yeah, we made a mistake, but that doesn't mean ICE is above reproach and they're killing people.
I agree. 100%. Okay. So, and that did give me a little bit of time to pull up Lexi, and I want to wait a second before I display it because I think this may be what you're talking about. If it's not, I apologize. But Lexi was, yes, the one who stated that she was like a natal nurse, and she said really horrible things about the press secretary.
The reason I mentioned it was the syringe connection to the other case, because she was going to fill syringes with paralysis drugs and lethal drugs.
Oh, that wasn't Lexi. That was the other one. God, I forgot her name. Yeah, but that was the other one. There's a lot of nurses. Lexi's the one who said that she wanted Caroline Levitt, the press secretary. That was a really nasty.
I was looking for the one with the syringes. I think she may have lost her license.
Yes, okay, sorry to Sarah something. I think. I'll have to find her.
I was trying to connect the syringe thing to the stories, but
I probably. But yeah, it's a different one. But Lexi did come up so coincidentally.
Oh, okay, cool.
Because she lost hers ability to practice medicine, and people are coming out mocking the shit out of her now because there was her image, and they were talking about how she was actually quote filter maxing.
Ooh.
So if you look on the right,
that is Maxi. Yeah. Ooh.
And see how she maxed on the left.
Wow.
That ain't the same person. That filter's so hard on this person that it doesn't look like it.
Wow.
Exactly. So people are mocking the shit out of her.
Well, she's unemployed now. I assume that surgeon in Florida is going to lose his license. The one who... Oh, he did? Okay. So
he was a nurse too, anesthesiologist.
He was a medical doctor though, right?
No, he was actually, I just saw it. Apparently he's a nurse. So he might've been like nurse practitioner or, like a higher level one, but yeah.
Okay. Because he was talking about not doing surgery or anesthesia, so he might have been right. I got you. Did you hear this story in Arizona? The head of the Democratic treasurer has resigned of the Democratic Party in Arizona for calling a female ICE supporter a cunt.
Oh,
he is now resigned from the Arizona State Democratic Party as the treasurer. So that is one up on the scoreboard.
Yeah, he not only called her that, he was just screaming it like a madman, and she was like a teenager. He's like, I mean, I'm sorry, that's a little bit scary when you have some middle-aged guy or older middle-aged guy running around screaming at you, calling you.
It's part of their terrorist tactics. I'm telling you, it all goes under my umbrella of terrorism. You could put together a 90-minute documentary of just the terrorist tactics of the Democratic Party, and it would not even be an exaggeration going back to George Floyd to convince people in power that this has to be declared a terrorist organization.
But it's I'm just like, whatever happened to me too? I mean, a poor kid getting harassed like that. Just scary. By the way, speaking of Democrats, though, this one kind of pissed off and surprised a lot of people. Fetterman, however you want to come down on the guy, when it comes to certain issues, he's actually pretty good.
Sometimes better than people like Rand Paul.
Oh yeah, since Fetterman literally is voting for things that Rand Paul's voting against in mass and others. But here he is in an interview, and they weren't happy to hear this.
I was cheering to bomb the Iranian nuclear facilities.
Can you just imagine if the Democrats, if we were in charge at that point, it's very likely that Iran could have acquired a nuclear bomb.
Of course,
that's what they wanted. And forget that thing. And I don't care if it's a Republican or I'm in a different party. What accomplished there by striking the nuclear facilities absolutely made the world more safe. And I can't even imagine if I lived in Israel, if Iran acquired a nuclear bomb. Well, it's a shame that they've put him in this prison cell, the Democratic Party. And I'm
Well,
trying
do you
to
think
help
he's
him,
invited to
help him to
lunch?
get out. He's been in prison for a couple of weeks now, and maybe we can get him out. ICE agents in Minnesota have now been directed late today not to interact with agitators. I don't know how you do this unless you enforce and create the Groubert U.S. Marshals Circle of Defense plan to go in with U.S. Marshals replacing local police and form a circle of defense to allow the ICE and Border Patrol agents to go in and extract whoever they want, take them out, and then withdraw the circle of defense regarding circling around ICE and the Border Patrol. There's nearly 4,000 U.S. Marshals in the United States system, Eric. Minnesota, Minneapolis has 600 cops. A lot of cities that size have 600 to 1,000 cops. Some have 400. Some have 900. My plan is to simply numerically replace them with U.S. Marshals for every single extraction. Go in with the U.S. Marshals as a defense unit. Just as this has been done historically. As I said, when the Kennedys went down to Oxford, Mississippi, and took out General Walker, they did the same thing. They went in with U.S. Marshals, used them as the replacement numerically for the police that are being forced against their will, as Eric pointed out, in many occasions, to not help ICE with their extractions of these criminal legal aliens. Use them as defensive, because this ruling today to not interact with agitators, I don't know what do you do, Eric? How do you not interact with people who are going to collapse inward on you by you not pushing back against them, for instance? I mean,
I'm not saying it's definite for sure, but the state police and police in Minnesota, at least over the past couple days, have actually been stopping some protesters and arresting some people. I don't know if they will step in, but if the locals actually did step in, then that would also
right. I'm saying if they don't. I'm saying if they don't.
If they don't, but I can't speak to that.
I'm speaking to the fact that it hasn't happened in months, and
right.
If it did, that would be breaking news. But it hasn't happened, and my answer is to bring in U.S. Marshals, of which there are about 4,000 in the United States who are trained for this. Also in New York, this has spread to New York. Hundreds of leftist agitators have taken over the Hilton Hotel in Manhattan, and there's hundreds of them in the lobby because they found out that ICE was staying there and the tactics were very effective in Minneapolis. So they are copying the tactics of Minneapolis in Midtown Manhattan as of last night in a Hilton Hotel. So keep that spreading in mind, because they, like Eric pointed out, they actually went in to attack verbally Tim Walz's office, right? They were protesting against Walz because he cooperated with Hitler.
Yeah, well, they absolutely did. Speaking of cooperating with or exploring what happened with quote unquote Hitler, I don't know if you saw this clip from Hannity last night with Bongino. He's talking about when he went into the FBI, what he found.
Oh, and I was reading through some stuff that you can only read in the office, and it just involved basically the collusion hoax, Crossfire Hurricane, as it went by, and the various other spinoffs. And when you read from the inside, Sean, when you see the details of what these just absolute animals did to President Trump, and the barriers that broke down and the guardrails, it was, I mean, I'm not shocked often, Sean. I'm really not. I'm not, again, I'm not trying to put on some faux set of armor. I'm just not shocked often. I've lived 1,000 lifetimes between the Secret Service, the NYPD, running for office, TV shows, and all this other stuff. Just reading through it and seeing it in detail for the first time, all put together, you can run a republic like this. You can't. You absolutely cannot. It was just stunning how all these guardrails broke down at the exact same time, and nobody there. Thank God there was it was and still is a long-ranging investigation into this stuff, because it's just frightening how no one thought to speak up and say, hey, man, not only is this wrong, this is like demonic. This is evil stuff. And I was.
Well, it's not that nobody thought to speak up. I mean, they were in on this thing. And now Tulsi Gabbard has come out, yesterday with really demonstrable documents calling for, I guess, the indictment of Barack Obama. I don't know where this is going to go, Eric. What's your take on?
I don't know yet. Tulsi was actually in Georgia yesterday.
Right, but there's two angles to it.
Yeah,
right.
So
yeah, she was at the raid. She was at the raid, but she also gave a press conference fingering Barack Obama for being the creator of the Russia hoax, which is what he is discussing right there and then. So I don't know where this goes in terms of indictments or who is going to. I mean, at some point, Jesse Waters, regular mainstream people are calling for the indictment of Barack Obama. These are not nuts. These are not people in a bar. People are calling for a mass investigation into this thing, not these Truth Social fly-by-night one-liners anymore. Something's got to give here, Eric.
Grand juries. That's where you need the grand juries.
Well, the Seattle mayor just this afternoon came out and regarding Signal Chat said that she's ordered her police to work directly with the political agitators to tip them off as to where ICE actually is in the city of Seattle. So that's
no Signal Chat for her. We should have
no Signal Chat for
she
her.
She wants it wide open.
she's using her police to actually work with the agitators, with the Marxist agitators in Seattle, to coordinate their activities against ICE agents. If ICE does not have a defensive circle around them, they're going to be sitting ducks. I'm just going to keep saying it because I fear that there are going to be some mortalities on the ICE side very shortly, simply because of them backtracking and walking away too softly. The situation with the so-called victim in the Border Patrol shooting. We've now seen the videos from days before, Eric, where he's kicking out the taillights of a Border Patrol vehicle, where he's spitting on them, where he's saying, come at me, mother effers. We now see the activity of how aggressive this guy was. But my reason I'm mentioning is they did not arrest him.
No,
and I've said this to you since this started. The fact that they went soft and allowed these people to get away and not be arrested encouraged them to get more violent, which is what happened in this guy's case. He kept taunting them and taunting them. Somebody ordered them not to arrest these people, and it led to the situation we're in now, in my humble opinion.
And by the way, I think you missed 1.2 about they're not arresting them. That it's even more egregious. And let me find it. I've got the video because I've been covering this.
Yeah. I mean, they get entangled with them. They roll around on the ground with them. Not just him. I'm talking about others. And they don't arrest them. They should have. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It gets even more. Look at his hip. Do you see that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
If you keep watching, you'll see. I'm going to just let it play in the background.
Yeah.
See the whole thing. They're tussling with him. They're searching him right now.
Yeah.
They're down there. They're searching him. His jacket is off. They're searching. I've spoken with Nate, lawyers. The first rule is you check the waistband. Think about when you're at the TSA and they are being stupid, and then they go around your waist.
What was the result of that? What was the result?
Look. You see that? That's practically an open carry. So they
I understand, but they did not arrest him.
I agree.
That's the point I'm trying to say. I mean, I see the weapon right there, but the reality of it is, weapon or no weapon,
Mhm.
These people have not been arrested, which encourages them to go even further, where he was literally taunting them and spitting in their faces, saying, "Come and get me, mother effers." They need paddy wagons. They need personnel carriers to come in for the arrest of the agitators. The U.S.
Yep.
Marshals should be there up front with the vans to put the agitators in, to make it a safe place for the U.S. Marshal, for the Border Patrol and ICE to extract these criminal aliens. I don't know if they wanted this to happen. That's a horse of another color. I'm just talking about the physical apprehension and the physical protection of ICE to do their jobs. They can't do both simultaneously with a mob of 75 people closing in on you.
No.
I mean, I'm not in law enforcement, and this seems illogical to me. I'm not even in this business.
Well, in his case, instead of just pushing him off or whatever, you don't even necessarily have to have a paddy wagon. I was in Arizona teaching at a Indian reservation, right? And on the way there, I saw this parade of people along the highway. I mean, literally just going for miles, a parade of people. And they're like, "Oh yeah, that's illegals." I was like, "What the hell?" It just shocked me.
Yeah.
But they would come in with buses. They'd be like, "Okay, everybody." And then there you go, round them up and put them on the bus. So, I mean, theoretically, they don't even have to have paddy wagon. They could rent a damn bus, use zip ties, and throw them on the bus. And
I agree, but many of these people are armed. You can't have them on the bus with weapons. You have to strip them and put them in a paddy wagon and cuff them and put them in there. We have seen video after video after video of 6, 7, 8 ICE agents wrestling with fat women, men who are wiggling around. It's taking all their manpower. It's just not practical to keep having to fight on the ground with each agitator while you're trying to get the illegal criminal alien in the building you're going into. You really need, and you're correct on the buses for that type of situation. I completely agree with you. But with these professional agitators, and they are professional.
Well, they're trained.
They're trained, and they're training them. We know this. You have to be uber aggressive. But I'm saying you have to be smart. Use a sound blast. Well, that we've never done that. That's from some utopian fictional world.
Well, they did fire hoses too at one point. So
right, no. Right. But I'm saying, that you could see newsreel footage of demonstrations going into back in the 60s during Nixon's time and later, where they brought in Chicago, and look at Chicago. Look at the 68 Democratic Convention, how they threw them in the back of paddy wagons. The Chicago police, you could say it was a police riot or whatever you want to call it. That's up to you.
Well, I'm just talking about that helped.
What's
local police with the paddy wagons.
No, but I'm saying you're going to replace them physically. So technically, you're the equivalent numerically of whoever you're replacing, and you have all the equipment, you have all the money, you're federally funded.
I don't know that the marshals have paddy wagons. I really,
Eric, we have everything on to our credit. We have everything. You and I have everything on the federal government side. Everything is accessible for me and you.
Okay.
But I don't know if you saw this story about George Zinn getting sentenced to 15 years.
I did see George Zinn. By the way, here is Eric Martindale. He is the anesthesiologist.
That's the guy. Now, what is this guy?
He's a nurse. He's no longer a registered nurse in Florida. According to
what is it with the nurses? I think it came from COVID that they became megalo and there's a movie with Alec Baldwin that I recommend to people where he plays a surgeon who gets a godlike complex in the course of this movie. And it's really a great film, but it really was a precursor to, I believe, what happened after COVID, where they really went megalo, controlling people's lives.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's trickled down to nurses, school teachers, and unfortunately for your wife, librarians.
No, librarians have, and teachers. But librarians and teachers are kind of wed together. It's been a long issue.
Yeah. So what happened with Zinn? He got 15 years from what I read.
Yep.
He pulled his pants down.
This was, at the event. Anyway, so there he is in court. Got 15 years, and bye, George. You served your purpose. He did say somebody paid him, and everybody's complaining
Yeah.
that he's not saying who. We don't know that. That's what gets me a little bit frustrated, because they're like, he didn't tell us. Just because George Zinn didn't have a press conference telling you that, oh, fill in the blank told me, doesn't mean
Right.
that the police didn't extract that information. And then when Tyler Robbins' trial takes place,
I agree.
that information can come forward. But,
agree.
I don't want to argue against the enemy.
Not only that, you can use that as a wedge to make a deal with him.
Sure, maybe that's 15 instead of, well, he's so old. I mean, 15 is a death sentence.
That's a death sentence for him, right, Eric?
But it could be, hey, you want better commissary privileges? Somebody donate money, or whatever. You want a better facilities? There's some deals that can be given.
Well, how about a reduction in sentence? That's a traditional deal.
Well, I understand that, but
if
there's a
15's
certain
death sentence, you can give him 5.
Okay. But I mean, when he's in his 70s already, I don't know what his health is or whatever. Sometimes
Right,
what your conditions are at the time can be part of the deal too. Or better.
Right, except don't you think it's a little harsh, 15 years for what he did?
Yeah, I mean,
I think they're trying to set up a deal with the guy, because 15, like you said, is a death sentence. He didn't shoot him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but then again, now that's let me see, it's 15 for obstructing justice and 2 counts. No, it wasn't the shooting; it was the possession of prawn.
I saw that. Yeah.
Well, that's a big deal.
Okay.
They come down. They know there are mandatory minimums for prawn that are very difficult for people to get out of.
One of the biggest scandals in the country is Democratic judges releasing people for the same charges with home confinement. This guy got 15 years. Now, it could be because it was Utah.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. That's
I'm just bringing it up. I'm just putting it out there. But okay, we got that covered. Now,
well, we've got.
Go ahead.
Rubio was in front of Congress yesterday, and
I didn't see that.
This is a preceding news that you sent earlier. So here is his answer about Cuba. I believe this is yesterday.
Will you make a public commitment today to rule out U.S. regime change in Cuba?
Regime change?
Yes.
Oh no, I think
What'd you say?
like to see the regime there change. We would like to. That doesn't mean that we're going to make a change.
Yes.
Oh no, I think we would love to see the regime there change. We would like to. That doesn't mean that we're going to make a change, but we would love to see it change. There's no
let
doubt
me
about
say that
the fact
again.
that it would be of great benefit to the United States if Cuba was no longer governed by an autocratic regime.
It was a great answer. Brilliant answer. Thank you. Regime change? Yeah, I've been calling for this for 35 years. Of course we want regime change, you stupid liberal schmuck. I mean, this is, like I said on previous shows, this is the mess that the Kennedys left us in 1962. And the damage that the Castro regime has done, not just to their own people, but by spreading Castroism throughout the South America and Central America and into Africa, has been enormous, Eric, enormous. And now they're cut off from oil. And Trump signed an executive order today regarding Cuba's status in the Western Hemisphere. They're going to take down Cuba. They're going to take it down. They're going to blockade the oil. This is what should have been done in 1962. Before, again, retards, before the missiles got in. Groubert said after the missiles.
Say this is 2 or 3 more times, because they're going to make.
No, I know. I know. I'm just saying, before the missiles got in, this was the way to go, was to cut them off. And Trump is now doing what should have been done in 1961.
Well, I want to continue with Congress, because he's speaking to your favorite senator here.
Oh my God, which one is this?
Rand Paul, your favorite.
Oh my God, what is wrong with this guy?
What it is, and let's vote on these things. But I think we're in violation of both the spirit and the law of the Constitution by bombing a capital, blockading a country, and removing elected officials. And we certainly wouldn't tolerate it, nor would I if someone did it to us.
But we didn't remove an elected official. We removed someone who was not elected, and it was
Right.
actually an indicted drug
Thank you.
trafficker in the United States.
Thank you,
And there's
schmuck.
just-
Our laws, indicted under our laws. Look, Bolsonaro says that Da Silva is not really the president of Brazil.
He said indicted under our laws. However,
What other laws should we indict him under? The
I was
laws
going to
of
say, weren't there
Mexico?
international sanctions
there, not only were there international sanctions, not only was he not the elected leader of Venezuela, not only was he the equivalent of the Panamanian that we took down, Noriega, as a precedent, Rand Paul would defend Fidel Castro based on Rand Paul's Kentucky psycho principles. It's enough with this piece of shit.
Yep.
Get him out of there, Kentucky. Come on.
There you go. We'll see if that finally happens, because we unfortunately have people on our side who are saying, "Oh, Massey is the best person
It's
ever."
Massey and
I
Rand
love
Paul.
Massey.
They
Massey's
love
my
this
favorite
guy.
politician in the whole.
We're in the middle of a counter-revolution, and they're picking out these two nitwits and hampering us fighting a Third Reich regime that wants to have Nuremberg trials for people in the Trump administration, and they're out there supporting Massey and Rand Paul as if anybody gives a shit about these two douchebags. Give me a fucking break with these guys.
Fair enough. Okay, now I found the
Oh.
Sorry, I'm jumping all over to different conversations, trying to close loops. But
Okay.
your syringe comment earlier, this is the nurse you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. Who is this one here? What's her name?
This is Melinda. It's actually M.A. Melinda.
Sabotage.
But I said Sarah for some reason. I think there is a Sarah
tactic,
too.
or at least scare tactic. All the medical providers, grab some syringes with needles on the end. Have them full of saline or succinylcholine, whatever.
Succinylcholine, the one that they use part of the cocktail for executions. That'd be funny.
I mean, these are terrorist threats. This is her signal chat line of the TikTok network she's talking to people that she knows. Her audience are other nurses. She's not just randomly putting this out for 13-year-old girls. She's talking to her colleagues doing this, saying, ladies, and whatever, your Paredes who are doing this, this is what I'm calling for. Are you guys in for this?
Yep.
I mean, that's a death penalty case to me. This is a terroristic act.
It's if somebody carried forth on it, then you definitely probably could get that claim in. But at this point, at least she's sacked. At least she's gone. Nate was telling me that there was an individual at a hospital who was fired over, like some claims, and they not only were fired, but everywhere they go, they had to report why they were fired. Normally, that's
like a sex offender.
But yeah. So there is
to me, firing doesn't cut it. If I conspire to murder somebody, me getting fired from my job at the dry cleaners doesn't, answer the question: did I conspire to pay someone to kill my wife? I don't know what firing has to do with terroristic threats on TikTok. I mean,
it could be a first step.
I'm glad she was fired. I'm glad she lost her license. But that seems to be the most incredible torture on the Republican side that could ever happen. As we discussed during the week, me and you.
Well, she was reported to the authorities as well. So
okay,
there could be a part 2 coming. VCU Health apparently reported her. So the organization has their own standards, professional things. So more may be coming down the line. We don't know on that. Speaking of interesting, irresponsible people, here is the maniac running for.
Who is this guy?
He's running for Attorney
that's the
General
guy in
Ohio.
Yeah.
You definitely want to hear from this fine politician.
Hi, this is Elliot Forehand, candidate for Ohio Attorney General. I want to tell you what I mean when I say that I am going to kill Donald Trump. I mean, I'm going to obtain a conviction rendered by a jury of his peers at a standard of proof beyond a reasonable doubt, based on evidence presented at a trial conducted in accordance with the requirements of due process, resulting in a sentence duly executed of capital punishment. That is what I mean.
Okay, I just want to respond to that because, whatever you want to say about this guy, this is, again, a Democratic official running for higher office as Attorney General, making terroristic threats about the president of the United States. He has no state regulation to execute with an electric chair in the state of Ohio, but that's what he's threatening. That's what he's threatening to do. These are terroristic threats, Eric. There's no legal channel or legal road to go down for an attorney general in the state of Ohio to execute Donald Trump unless he's out of office and this guy wants to charge him with something that's made up in the state of Ohio for retribution in a Nuremberg-style trial after he's out of the White House. That's why this has to be done.
No, I agree, and but I do want to give credit where it's due. It was sent to me. I can't find the tweet on that.
Yeah,
but this guy is such a nutcase that the Democrats literally removed him.
Right,
and Democrats never fire anybody
because they said this is too blatant for us. We got to keep it on the down low, bro. They're all fucking crazy. That's the whole point.
All right. Well, this is anyway. That was the story that we wanted to cover and get out there. Let me see.
Well, there's a couple of little things. I don't know if people are following this. There's now a $500 rat law in South Carolina that's spreading around the country, Eric. I don't know if it's hit your town yet.
Rat law?
This $500 rat law, which is being enforced and I'll reach out to my South Carolinian friends who may report on this. If your car is messy and has messy stuff inside your vehicle, that's right, your vehicle, Hunley, they will now fine you, the government, the local government, the police, looking into your vehicle, seeing empty soda containers and your McDonald's wrappers that you have in there. Don't try to deny it, Hunley. They can now fine you $500 to prevent rats from trying to get into your car and spreading by eating the garbage in your car.
This has to be a California law.
No, it's not. It's in South Carolina. It's not here yet, but I predict it will be here shortly and it will spread up.
I'm sure that Gavin and then we're going, oh, damn it, we didn't think of that yet.
Again, this is in South Carolina, having nothing to do with California. That's why I was pointing it out. And it's a $500 fine, which is being called the rat law, and it's spreading throughout the East Coast, not the West Coast, the East Coast, to head off rats at the pass.
That's a new one. I
don't want to get that in.
I admit I never have heard of that, and fortunately, I am safe. I don't have
brand new.
There may be other clutter, but there's no food clutter.
Well, that's for you personally, but a lot of people have empty wrappers and soda cans and all kinds of shit in their cars. The police will now look into your car and see what kind of garbage is in there to give you the $500 fine.
That is one that I really am curious to see how that holds up constitutionally.
Okay.
The only problem with that kind of law is that the people who are getting prosecuted tend to have no damn money, so it's not like
it's under the health violations. They have an enormous amount of power in the health departments for bubonic plagues and rats.
Yeah, you'll have to send that to me later because I think
I did. I thought I sent it to you, but
you might have. I mean, there's so many damn stories that. Okay.
Well, the Supreme Court of California just ruled today that Huntington Beach does not have the right to have voter ID. So this was the battle to the death of this one one city in Southern California. Huntington Beach was a great town in Orange County. They voted to implement voter ID. The California Supreme Court just today knocked it down. This has to go now, not 10 years from now, Trump. This has to go now to the United States Supreme Court before these midterm elections. That's why they drag their feet on this, to bump it up against the elections, and they drag this out to get this thing off the books. This needs to be fast-tracked from the California Supreme Court, which is what ruled today, and going to the United States Supreme Court. Just wanted to get that out in the zeitgeist because it just happened.
Okay, fair enough. I'm going to change gears completely because I do want to acknowledge that Catherine O'Hara died today.
Yeah, it's so shocking. I mean, Catherine O'Hara, I'm not a big fan of female comics, but she was the #1 female comedian in my book. I mean, I love Catherine O'Hara. You know, I mean, the amount of stuff that she did at SCTV, and also, you know, in incredible films that she was in, just really shocking that she died so quickly. I mean, people may know her from Home Alone and some of the other stuff she was in, but I mean, I really remember her from. What was my favorite one? When she was she did that series with Christopher Guest and Eugene Levy, where they did those mockumentaries, Best in Show, Waiting for Guffman, A Mighty Wind, and For Your Consideration. All 4 of those were absolutely genius. But Beetlejuice was what I was thinking of. Her work in Beetlejuice. Catherine O'Hara, in case people don't know this, had situs inversus. And situs inversus is your organs are on the reverse side inside of your body. Her heart was on the right side and her liver was on the opposite side. All of her organs were reversed on the inside of her body. And a lot of people, or nobody knew that. I happen to know it just from being a freak from years ago. And that can be a problem when you do have a problem, which she did immediately and was taken in last night at 4 o'clock in the morning. Actually, she was taken into the hospital and did not survive the trip to the hospital last night. Although she was fine a couple months ago or a month ago, she was actually going around. She's in studio, the new Seth Rogen show, which is on hiatus right now. But yeah, shocking news today. I was really shocked to see that about Catherine O'Hara.
Are you going to do an episode on her with Laura Buckley? What's up?
I don't know about that, but I mean, I'm doing one on Phil Hartman this week, so we'll talk about her a little bit on the Phil Hartman episode. But she was part of that group of SCTV, and I just want to tell you, we covered her a little bit when we did the John Candy episode. But I mean, the people that were with her, when they were trying to cherry pick her for Saturday Night Live, Eric, and she refused to go. And I always respected her for that. She was with John. Dig this lineup of people at Second City TV, 1976. John Candy, Harold Ramis, Andrea Martin, Joe Flaherty, Eugene Levy, Rick Moranis, Dave Thomas, and Martin Short. I mean, and dig that lineup of where those people went from that basic obscurity in Toronto. And she did not want to go down and be on that crazy train wreck of SNL in the late 70s and early 80s, when it went off the rails under Jean Doumanian. But yeah, I mean, she was just brilliant. She really was an incredible performer.
All right. Well, I definitely wanted to get that one in because obviously remember somebody good. Now, we were talking recently, remember Mark Carney and China and all that, and I was talking about the X'd out people on the chart. Well, this came out in Epic Times today. I didn't know if you had seen that, but things aren't looking great there. Oh, yesterday, sorry. Ignored orders and growing resistance in Chinese military after purge of top generals. So remember I was saying that when you see that kind of X, it's like things aren't comfortable there. And I do think there is more going on in China, and I can't go read a Chinese newspaper and understand what's going on, and it is a little bit dark for me. But a lot of Trump's moves, I really feel that there's these second and third degree effects
it could be simply that we're finally pushing back moves, and we're creating trouble for the first time in many years. I will put it that way. This may be the result of our chicanery and messing around inside, as they have and we have acknowledged through some military defections or something of that sort. Doesn't mean they're collapsing, but it means that we're finally doing something.
No, but as long as they're looking internally and having problems, then they're not easily we're looking out. We can keep them busy inside, good.
Well, it's hard to infiltrate a totalitarian regime, as you're well aware. And unless you've got slanty-eyed surgery or American Chinese who are super patriotic and willing to do your bidding for you, it's hard to find a offensive group to go in and do stuff other than somehow convincing them to defect, which is what we've done, you know, with the Russians and other groups who are white Anglo-Saxonish looking. It's easier to have a spying program, but I mean, look what they've done, infiltrating our universities, our science departments, and everything. And how many people have the FBI arrested, you know, who were stealing scientific secrets from universities here in the United States? I mean, this is just crazy. This is, I mean, it's on full blast now, Eric.
No, I agree. I agree. But if they're not getting the information back, and yes, I don't know how many we can flip or not flip, while they're here. But then even if you do flip them, do you really trust them? Or are they just,
right? And also they have families that are there that they use as hostages and weapons to prevent them from leaving the country. And the people who leave the country, we found out, Eric and I, that they have police departments here. They have jails here. They have embassies here. They have 300,000 students who are forced by law to spy on the American way of life and report to Chinese consulates every month by law. I mean, what is the upside other than the Chinese government paying up to $90,000 a year in tuition to some private concern called a university to have these people of the elite Politburo of the Chinese Communist Party in their universities? I don't get it. I don't get it. What is the benefit for us? I pointed out last week, we're training their pilots up in the central coast of California here. There's no difference between their private and military pilots. They conflate the two of them. They use them for transport of troops. And we're training them left and right here. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's been that way for a long time. That's the weakness that they can exploit. We like money. We like our business to succeed, and they're probably buying like entire classes of trainees. Like, okay, here's another one. Here's another one. And this organization's like, oh, the school's getting paid, and they're happy. You know,
pick up his new book. It's all in Peter Schweitzer's new book. Well, at least we're not in Spain yet, Eric. I don't know if you've been following this story in Spain.
I am not. You just said
dear Lord, this is, dude, everybody's heads are spinning over this move, boxing out the legislature of Spain and having a royal decree to stop the conservative right in Spain from gaining any further political traction. They have now given citizenship to 500,000 African illegal aliens who have come to Spain in the last 4 months. They have now made them a voting bloc of 500,000 voters. Here they are to intentionally out loud. They're now saying what the Biden administration refused to say out loud, that they're bringing in and have brought them in already. They're already there. This is 500,000 Africans they've given full rights to overnight to vote against any conservatives that may run for office, and saying it out loud that it's to stop the far right from taking over Spain. Not even hinting at it, saying it out loud. They've gone around the legislature of Spain. They've issued a decree from the king. And this is the law now, making them legal citizens with full voting rights overnight in Spain. That's where we are now, Eric, as a Western culture. This is one of the most draconian moves since Hitler taking over the Reichstag and forcing out the chancellor.
It's pretty astounding.
You shocked yet, Eric?
Yeah, it's interesting. I was just looking at the headline. I don't know if it could work, but I mean, technically they're saying, hey, this is a war on the EU. I don't know.
They're also going to be able to leave and go wherever they want in the EU as per EU laws.
Right.
EU laws. They're not going to fight that. But just from the voting point of view within Spain, they said that was our intention. They didn't hide it for 1 second. It's to stop the conservative right that's been steadily growing in Spain, like it did in Italy, like it's done in Hungary, like it's done in other countries. They did this by their out loud admission, not some editorial in a newspaper. They're saying we're doing this for that purpose, Eric. That's a new out loud declaration that we need to pay attention to.
Yeah. How about those tariffs, Trump?
Yeah. Oh my God.
What's the Spanish one? It's sangria. No more sangria, folks.
No more sangria for us.
Nope.
Yeah.
Well, we got to put that now. While we're talking about interesting things, you sent me this, but it is very amusing. Ezra Klein is a hardcore leftist.
Yeah.
Very pro-Palestine, all the way down the line. But he's starting to find out that you can be completely following every bit pro-Palestinian, everything else. But if you have the last name Klein, it may not work for you.
That's tough.
Why do you think I deny what's going on in Gaza? Hey, bud. Why do you think I deny what's going on in Gaza? I think it's a destruction of apartheid and subjugation.
When you look back on history,
buddy.
It is funny because the guy's so confused. He doesn't. He just. Oh, you're a oppressor.
I am right here.
Yeah, he's a capo. He's a capo who tried to side with the Nazis, not unlike George Soros, who worked with the Nazis to root out Jewish families and take their belongings and sell them off, working with the Gestapo, with the Third Reich, and with the Einsatzgruppen to go through Austria and his native land and Hungary to seek out Jews and turn them over to the Nazis. Ezra Klein is George Soros from World War II. And now they've come for Ezra Klein, as everyone said, who were Israeli supporters, who were American Jews, said this is not about Israel. Ezra Klein is now realizing that it's not about Israel, it's about his last name.
Yep. Which ultimately was. And while we're on that, I'm going to share this one too. I don't know if you shared it with me or I shared it with you, but either way, we crossed over each other. Piers Morgan had this guy on, Bassem Youssef.
Oh, that's great. This is great.
And this guy.
This guy's great.
He just says the quiet part out loud. Here you go.
Yeah.
Some of these bastards never enough for you. You see, it doesn't matter how critical journalists are about Israel. It will never be enough for you because you want the right. You want the right to suggest that Charlie Kirk was the subject of a hit job by Israel. You want the world to think that. That's why you said what you said, and that's why when I asked you, you went, Netanyahu says it wasn't him.
By the way, I'm not even the only one. People are actually, here's the thing. If you continue lying to your people, right? I'll tell you what, let's call me a conspiracy theorist, right? Yeah. Call me someone who is illogical. Call me whatever you want. If your government continues to lie to you consistently, this is where conspiracy theorists thrive. If you're not transparent,
why do you want to be one of them?
If you want to cover up, no. I'm not saying I'm one.
Why? Why float a mad conspiracy theory about Israel?
Because it's the internet, and I'm a comedian.
Okay, but it's not that funny, though, is it?
Actually, a lot of people thought it was very funny.
You have millions, I'm sure they did, but millions of people follow you, and you want them to think that Israel is behind the murder of Charlie Kirk. And you call me an ill-informed, irresponsible journalist.
Yeah, because I'm not a journalist. I'm a comedian. Remember, I'm a clown. I
don't think you're a clown.
That's what I do. Oh, I'm a clown. Actually, I'm a comedian.
This guy's a comedian?
But I think you're somebody who is so blindly hateful of all things Israel.
This is what he's doing, and
that's what
others have called it, and it's very obnoxious. It's called the clown nose on, clown nose off.
Oh, I like that. Very good.
I didn't come up with that. I think
isn't that what's his name does? The stand-up comic Dave Smith?
Yeah, there's a lot
he
of
says, I'm merely a comic, and then all of a sudden he's an expert, then he's a comic.
Yes, exactly.
If he called clown nose on and off. I like that. Wow.
Yeah, I did not come up with it. I don't know.
It's a great line. It's a great line. Wow. I mean, but he's platforming these people, Piers Morgan. This guy admits that he lied about this thing. and yet he gives them millions and millions of listeners. I mean, you know, he's got to be held. Look, can you stop Piers Morgan? Of course not. But he's got to be morally challenged. He's got to be made to feel uncomfortable for his moral decision to get clickbait money out of putting these people on. People die for these things. My relatives die because Piers Morgan wants to get clickbait out there.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, about Megyn Kelly and clickbait and Candace and your friends,
my friends.
I don't know if you followed this story about the Golden Globes. We mentioned it about what's her name from Saturday Night Live winning a podcast. Podcast of the Year award, and I didn't even know
you never heard of it.
No, I didn't even know she had a podcast.
Right.
And Amy Poehler, who I actually like, Amy Poehler, and I like Tina Fey as comics. Apparently, Amy Poehler had a podcast that was only 6 months old. Probably why Eric and I never heard of it, because it was only 6 months old. And she won Podcast of the Year, which is a new award by the Golden Globes. And she came up and thanked 5,000 people. And it was just shocking to me how many people she thanked for a simple podcast. But apparently it's a big production, as Eric pointed out, with Spotify and some others.
She had a whole crew. I mean,
she had a whole crew. I mean, whoa. Agents and producers. I couldn't believe how many. And
it's just podcast networks, Mark.
It's just me and Hunley doing the same thing by ourselves in our underwear. But now Joe has weighed in, Eric.
Yep. And he apparently wasn't nominated because he refused to pay the $500 fee.
Right.
Thus making the entire thing a joke anyway. It's like, oh, wait a minute. You're going to have the first ever podcast award, but the biggest podcast in the world isn't even mentioned. He's not even nominated. Yeah, come on.
Right. He wasn't even tooting his own horn. He was basically saying factually, I, for 6 consecutive years, have had the largest podcast in the world. Yeah. And they came to me and said, we will give you an award if you pay us this money as a paperwork fee. And apparently he found out that Megyn Kelly told them to go fuck themselves as well. That they came to her and she said, fuck off.
Okay, well, good for her.
That's why I wanted to
she's been kind of a pain in the ass lately, so let's throw her a bone.
I did. Good job. That's what I wanted to do. But apparently they finally found somebody who's got very few listeners, who's had a podcast for 6 months named Amy Poehler, and they made her podcaster of the year.
And to be fair to Amy Poehler, even, we don't know, but she's part of, I'm sure, a podcast network, and the network probably paid for all their podcasts to be. So she may not have even known herself or paid herself. I don't know that, but you never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, these awards are a joke anyway. Somebody put in the chat. Yeah, they pretty much are.
No, I agree. But when they're shaking you down for money to be nominated, that's something that should be called out. You know, everybody's known the Golden Globes have been so sketchy for so many years. They were forced to take a year off because they didn't give out enough black awards. And enough women awards. They were kicked off of NBC for a year because they weren't politically correct enough. They didn't have enough journalists of color. There's been so much with these Golden Globes, and now for them to begin shaking down potential nominees for money, it doesn't seem to end with this group.
No, but of course, notice they can still get right back in. It's like, okay, there you go. As long as you pay the money and you grease the right palms, then we're good to go. Come on back in.
Come on back in. Yeah.
You're fulfilling I'm sorry, Mark. I'm going to go wider. All awards are a joke now. Just about, in the book world, the Edgar Award, it has become a travesty. And it goes back to the Hugo or Nebula Award. They had the six sad puppies or dead puppies, which were science fiction writers that were saying they're trying to give awards to these idiots who aren't very talented, but they meet the criteria. It was Larry Correia and some other people, and they went against it, and there was like a whole war within, and they actually canceled one of the awards. Following that, the romance novel awards, I think it called the Ritas, got canceled or eliminated because again, it was like everything was going woke and stupid.
Yeah.
And so now it's just like all the awards are pretty much captured. I mean, look at the Oscars.
Well,
what are the requirements?
Grammy Sunday night, if anybody's interested, despite Eric's protest, the Grammys will air on Sunday night on CBS.
Let's see what the ratings are. That's the
Well,
most
speaking of
interesting part
ratings,
is the
Eric,
low ratings.
Apparently, the CBS News crew has until Monday, I believe it is, at noon to take their buyout or accept being fired by Barry Weiss. She's now put a deadline on this buyout, Eric, which I like, a ticking clock, bro.
I think that's what I suggested.
Yeah.
It's like, we could do this one of two ways. Hey, you want some money? Okay. And the ticking clock would have been too. I would have said, okay, it's at 50% on Friday, and then Monday it's all gone. You're just gone.
I think that may be the case. I think you might get what you want here. And the ratings continue to climb at CBS Evening News, which suggests to me that the other two news organizations must be declining, because if you're rising, unless these are new viewers and there's no effect at ABC and NBC, which I doubt, this may have an effect on the other two news networks.
It also could be pulling from the online world too. I mean, there is a possibility.
I agree.
But yeah, I mean, the bottom line is for what kind of a hack Tucker Carlson calls her and everything else, for some reason, CBS is actually seeing growth. CBS is actually seeing, has a pulse now, which they haven't. They've been long. I think the CBS has been in the gutter since Dan Rather did the National Guard stunt on George W. Bush in 2004.
It goes back to what's her name now came out, King, the morning.
Gayle King, is it?
Gayle King came out supporting Barry Weiss. Now she may be just trying to save her job, but they've turned on Gayle King now, the rank and file.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Cheryl Atkinson at CBS. And Catherine
originally.
Hedridge. So it'd be interesting getting them back too. Bring them in, the fold.
Well, she's bringing in. I don't know if you saw who she's bringing in.
Yeah, I did. Coleman Hughes. There's a whole list. I read them on Tuesday.
Yeah, on Tuesday. Yeah. Wow. And then speaking of Tucker, apparently he's been over in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, talking about how comfortable he feels as a Christian. I thought that was kind of weird, Eric. And how comfortable he feels in accessing alcohol drinks. This was two weird angles to, in his speech at that. There were two themes to what he was saying. One was how comfortable he feels as a Christian in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, despite the fact, as Community Notes pointed out, Christianity is illegal in Saudi Arabia, and churches are illegal, but still Tucker feels extremely comfortable. Okay. He also went on a jag about how you can find mixed drinks and alcohol in Saudi Arabia if you look for it. So people who are Tucker watchers, like myself, are curious as to why this acknowledged alcoholic would be seeking out or bragging or claiming that you could find alcoholic drinks in a country where it is again illegal to have alcohol. He went out to a whole long jag about finding alcoholic drinks wherever he wants to,
which is insane. I was like, well, that's part of the reason I thought he liked Qatar. I think they can drink in Qatar. Or
well, not in Saudi Arabia. They can't.
No. That's why I said I think Qatar and UAE, one of those. Because soldiers, I remember back when I was in the army, those who were in the Middle East would bitch, and they would say, you can't drink in Saudi Arabia, you have to go. And it would be like one of the other countries, UAE, somebody saying in the chat.
Well, he's one of the number one Tucker watchers is Laura Loomer, who pointed all this out, was putting up his speech on X. And it's hard to watch. This guy talking about how comfortable he feels in this draconian anti-Christian environment is really bizarre. I mean, there's no churches. Christianity is illegal. The churches are illegal. And yet he feels like $1 million.
Well, what was it? I saw something earlier talking about he's most of the way to converting right now. I don't know how he's going to drink though if he converts to Islam.
Did John Brennan convert to Islam?
I don't. Didn't he?
Yeah,
I think he said he did back in.
Yes, the head of the CIA, my friends.
Well, he was a communist before. Come on, he's got.
Well, communist usually anti-religion, but this one.
Well, red blue.
He spoke fluent Farsi and apparently converted to Muslim either before he became head of the CIA or after. I think he was station chief up there at one point of his career. He was a station chief.
He and Sean Stone could go hang out.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw Batman showed up at the town hall in Santa Clara yesterday, and it was covered by KTLA because when Batman shows up, the local news pays attention here in Los Angeles. So Batman said he had a problem with the Super Bowl that's coming up, and he doesn't want any police working at all with ICE to round up illegal criminal aliens who may or may not be attending the Super Bowl coming up here in LA. And Batman said that he had a problem with this city council not denouncing any police that would work with ICE, including Batman, during the Super Bowl.
Well, let's see.
Let's see what happens.
What the are you doing here? Seriously, you have had months to prepare for this upcoming event. I don't give a damn if this is outside of decorum. People are dying on our streets every single day in this country because
fentanyl addicts?
No, maybe not.
We
maybe
allow
not.
this federal government to walk all over you. Look me in the eye. Can any one of you go home to your children and tell them that you did everything you could to protect their classmates, to protect their grandparents, to protect them? I don't think you can, with the exception of Park. Thank you.
Okay. I have an answer for this. I have an answer for this. Calling Alex Stein.
Yeah, Alex Stein.
Show up to the meeting.
Now as competition, Alex Stein. But, the Melania movie opened up last night and most of the cabinet was there for the gala opening. I don't know. There's there's a whole string of side stories to this Melania documentary, which had I think about an $80 million budget, by the way. And there's a couple of stories I wanted to spin off of this story without getting into the topic of the documentary itself, which I have not seen regarding Melania. It was directed by Brett Ratner, who was Me Too. This is his first attempt back at directing, an odd choice.
Rush Hour, right?
Yeah, and a lot of other stuff, man.
But that was his biggest film, I think.
Maybe box office wise, yeah. So Brett Ratner from Rat Films was chosen to direct this thing. And the people on the crew have taken their names off of the credits, Eric, and refused to have their names on the credits to be identified with the film. So he had to answer questions about that, Ratner, at the premiere, which was kind of interesting. But he said, I don't blame them. They have to feed their families. I don't know what Ratner was talking about, but I used to know his mother, who used to live in Miami Beach, by the way. I don't know if she's still alive. But Ratner, besides Ratner, the P&A for the film was enormous. I say P&A, I mean print and advertising. The budget for advertising on the film was pretty large because they feel that this is going to be a very successful,
especially for Amazon, because Amazon, I think they say is normally 3 to 5, and it was like 40 million for this or something.
Whatever it was, apparently very large. And I'll tell you my metric that I usually use. They put ads on the side of 100 Los Angeles Metro buses. Side ads are very expensive and usually very effective in urban environments. To rent the sides of buses on 100 buses is super expensive. And also the bus stands. That's a separate purchase, a separate buy, as they call it in movies and television. So the buses were put into the yard, taken off the street by Karen Bass, and put into the metro yard for repairs so they wouldn't be on the street the week the movie came out that they paid for. I presume the production company will be suing the city of Los Angeles for this terroristic action on their part. They then, all of the bus station ads were defaced by graffiti artists. So because the defacing had bad words, Karen Bass removed the ads from the paid bus stations. So both major buys, which could have been $10 million or more for the city of Los Angeles, she terroristically removed the buses claiming they were due for repair, and then removed the bus station ads saying that they had foul language in the graffiti that was written over Melania's face. I just want to put that out there for Trump.
Well, her bringing the buses in for repair, they could probably nail her on. She'll probably wiggle out of the graffiti routine, because they can say, well, that wasn't our fault. We fulfilled our contract negotiation, obligation.
Well, I'm just saying this is how far they'll go. When receiving actual money that is so sorely needed, they are politically willing to shoot themselves in the foot. And of course, now this week we have the Trump executive order and having Lee Zeldin take over the distribution of permits for the rebuilding in the Pacific Palisades fire. Newsom and Bass going batshit crazy over the federal government finally coming in after they have stalled for 1 year in issuing these permits. They do not want anything built on that land. And they went batshit crazy over Trump making this move, way out of proportion with what Trump did.
Wow. By the way, breaking news, somebody just sent me on X. Don Lemon has been released without bail.
Oh, yeah.
No
well,
surprise.
we knew that was going to happen. Yeah. I mean, his own accounting sense. But yeah, speaking of deportations, like I said on this show 3 weeks ago, anecdotally, story in the New York Post today, which is now the California Post, greatest paper ever written. I'm getting this delivered every morning now. And it has, I am so excited to wake up, Eric, to get the actual California Post delivered to my door. This is going to change politics in California, this paper. I am telling you right now, and I'm thinking of going to work for them to cover the Dodgers. So more on that later, but we'll see what happens in spring training. That being said, the rents in this article that they've released today are dropping in Los Angeles. And I said this on this show about 3 weeks ago, that anecdotally I saw for rent signs all over the city. And I told Eric about it. And apparently there's now statistics coming out because of the 2.5 million illegal aliens that are now fleeing the city of Los Angeles. Of course, when there's shockingly now vacancies. And when the vacancy rate rises, the rents go down. It's not about building. It's not about permits. It's not about anything. It's about taking 2 million people from another planet and putting them in the middle of a congested urban city and expecting the rents to not go up and for there not to be a tight squeeze on livability. It's now every demand? Yeah, so basically supply and demand. Like I said on this show 3 weeks ago, there's for rent signs all over LA. Nobody would talk about it until the California Post wrote an article about it today. Thanks to the California Post, the new paper in town, the LA Times is in big effing trouble. They finally have fucking competition. Thank you, California Post, for coming to town.
All right. By the way, this is apparently, I guess Karen Bass attended Don Lemon's hearing. Or
that's good.
And this is the people's reaction to her.
Step aside, please. Let the mayor come through.
Fuck you, Karen Bass!
Right on.
You're right, Mayor. You're right. Over here.
Fuck you.
Hey, get over there. Don't do that over here. Don't do that over here. Thank you.
They're shocked. They're absolutely shocked. He's down to a 36% approval rating. Right on, you piece of shit. You little fucking chimp.
I thought you might appreciate that.
I do appreciate that. It's very exciting. Their heads are spinning now. I've never seen them in such chaos and turmoil, Eric, as they have been in the past couple of weeks. Her approval rating is down to 36, which is getting close to 31, which is Mayor Johnson in Chicago, who may be below 31, and that's her goal. There's a lot of people who are going to run for mayor, and a lot of people running for governor. There's a lot of turmoil in the city and the state simultaneously.
Well, good to see that. By the way, that was sent to me by Suzanne Love on X.
Oh, I love
that.
Thank
you very much,
Suzanne Love.
We do appreciate it. But you know what we really love?
We love
super chats.
Super chat.
And we always have to start off, or very frequently start off, with Australia and Anthony. Let's see if you can guess what he's saying.
It's Trump's fault.
You guessed it.
You guessed
Trump's fault.
This guy, I love this. I love these one-note people. They're kind of consistent.
But you think? But he changes it up. Sometimes it's a question. Sometimes it's a statement. We got William Ratcliffe here with $10. Thank you very much. Tim Walz has already hired Kevin Hart to prepare him for his prison sentence.
That's funny.
That's funny. That's funny.
You know, he keeps saying, I'm not going to run for any office again. He's emphatically saying it. And he says, governors tend to land on their feet. I'm not worried about my future. And I'm going like, really? It's time to lawyer up, you fucking Elmer Fudd piece of shit.
You know, where are you going to go? What are you going to do?
You're going to go to court. That's where you're going to go. You're going to spend money on a legal defense fund.
All right. Sonny Lapalata. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Great series. Lemon will skate for sure and get Colbert's job. I think they might just end the whole show.
They've reported, as I said on this show a couple of months ago, the internal TV discussion is that all of these shows are lost leaders. None of them are sustainable. They've all been taken over by podcasts, and eventually all of them, when the contracts run out, will be replaced. The actual late night shows are not financially viable any longer, according to internal television studies.
I think
nothing to do with politics or personalities, just the shows themselves are not sustainable.
I'm thinking that maybe the Tonight Show will survive it, but I think Jimmy Kimmel, they'll just eliminate the whole show, him, everything. Colbert, eliminate him, everything.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll keep on to the one for tradition. I don't know.
I don't know.
Ort Cloud. My doctor is woke. I need a new one that cares for my well-being. Happy Friday, gentlemen.
Okay.
Good luck.
Good luck. Good luck.
That's a hard
Good
one. K-Dog. Let's see here. You mentioned Kenny Wayne Shepherd. I first heard him when he was a teenager and was floored. Phenomenal musician.
What's it to you that I know Kenny Wayne Shepherd? No, that's true. Thanks for the donation. Yeah, Kenny Wayne is a besides
Prodigy,
being an incredible guitar player, prodigy. Yeah, when he was little, Kenny Wayne Shepherd is a super duper Christian and also married Mel Gibson's daughter and did live, but there were so many fires. Mel lost his house and others did too. They did live next door to Mel's compound there in Malibu. I don't know where Kenny Wayne moved to. I don't even know where Mel moved to, but he was living on that compound for a number of years and is still married to Mel Gibson's daughter.
Yeah, that was crazy because Mel Gibson was on Joe Rogan while his house was burning down.
Yeah.
Remember that? That was a weird MMC 1730. Shouldn't Omar's attacker be federally charged? Because I think if Bondi gets him facing 5 or 10 years hard time, he may rethink any plan he was in on.
Yeah, I thought it would be federal too because there was an attack on a congressional member. I don't know why it's state or city. I mean, it is a federal attack of a congressperson.
Yeah, maybe it could be both. Maybe it could get both charges on both ends. Peppernella is saying, here we heard who Colbert was to y'all. No joke.
Here we heard who Colbert was to y'all. No joke. You have to bring out the Enigma machine, Hunley.
Well, it is hold on, it's euros, so it could be a language.
Right, I'm saying we need the Enigma machine from Poland. to translate the code. That's what I'm saying.
Roland Portilla said, agents' lack of training has played part in this.
Yeah,
sure.
But I'm saying I don't blame them because it's been such an overwhelmingly crazy response with signal chat, with targeted, trained agitators. Nobody could defend themselves against this mess. This is not people with a sign on the side of the road protesting the Vietnam War. They were trained on how to use their SUVs, how to block them, how to extricate themselves. You're up against a trained force. You have to respond with trained agents. In my humble opinion.
Nick Giusti, why is Rand Paul such a bitch?
I don't know.
Swear he's adopted because he's trash compared to his father.
I don't know. I don't know what the thing is with these guys. I don't know what Massey's point is. I don't know what the other nitwit from Kentucky, the other senator was, McConnell. I don't know what's down there.
McConnell had his wife from the CCP.
Right. Now, I get that. I get that part. But I just don't know when Kentucky became California.
Good question. John Springer, interesting question. He's saying, on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely is Trump will hit Iran?
I said it was going to be a wag the dog situation, and I think the wagging of the dog will be based on the amount of blowback from Minnesota that he feels that he needs to change that narrative. So I don't know that right now it's in the 5s.
Okay. Let's see. Alexander 9032. Been a loyal follower 4 years. I rarely disagree, but even Barnes disagrees and admits shooting was not self-defense. Don't like he got involved, but didn't deserve to be shot in the back, guys. Did we say
anything about that? What are you talking about?
I don't think we ever said anything about it. We said this
I don't know
wasn't
who you're
a good
to.
guy. I think that's all we've said is that Preddy was not a nice guy.
Sorry,
That's
bro.
all we've said.
Thanks for the
by the way, if you want to know my opinion on it, last Sunday I spent 3 hours with Nate the lawyer, and we went through every freaking bit of that video, and covered it pretty thoroughly. If you're interested and wanted to go into that, let me see. B. Davis.
Republicans.
That's
pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
That's funny.
That's pretty funny, Davis.
All right, let me read it for the people listening. Massey and Paul are Republicans.
Well, say it right, Hunley. Come on, Republicans.
Republicans. Well,
you got it. You got it.
Roll off the tongue.
He's right. He's got a good name. Republicans. I
He
like
does.
it. Yeah.
I agree.
Say it loud. He's white and he's proud.
Oh shit! Jack White is back.
Whatever happened to Jack White?
He's here. Soros family is already breaking the law. Before the Nazis came marching in, they were forcing people where they live in Hungary to pay them protection.
I never knew that. That's an interesting point, Jack. I never heard that about him.
That makes sense. So
I know they sold off their belongings as part of their targeting the Jews, which is like a gift from the Nazis. And the only reason I know that is because George Soros said this on 60 Minutes, and they tried to scrub it, but unfortunately, too many people had the tape of George Soros, and any criticism of George Soros is, of course, anti-Semitism, which is one of the craziest defenses I've ever heard. Was the defense of George Soros saying criticizing him as being done by anti-Semitic people? Wow.
Yeah. Well,
by the way, there's a Long Island Democratic representative named Susie who was in ZZI, who was in synagogue on Long Island yesterday when radicals stormed in like they did in the church in Minneapolis and destroyed the peace of that synagogue and the Jewish service that was going on being led by Susie. It might have been for Holocaust Remembrance Day. I'm not sure, but they stormed the synagogue on Long Island and disrupted the entire events there. I don't know if you have any video of that. There was an article about it.
I'll have to fetch it. I'm doing that.
And then a man rammed his car in New York through the wall of a synagogue And a city councilman in New York has now created a bill to create a 100-foot buffer around all New York City synagogues. This is where we are, people. This bill is not going to be signed by Mandani, I'll tell you that much. But at least somebody had some courage to create this bill in New York City to create a 100-foot buffer around New York City synagogues after this car rammed into this Chabad synagogue with his vehicle yesterday. Apparently, Holocaust Remembrance Day brings out a lot of bad feelings. There was a mayor, a blonde, blue-eyed mayor woman in Jacksonville, Florida, who came out in her office for Holocaust Remembrance Day with a gigantic Palestinian flag on a flagpole and the podium draped with the Palestinian kaifa. Again, this is crazy. But I thought that J.D. Vance would take care of the entire thing by issuing his stern statement commemorating Holocaust Remembrance Day by not
it's
remembering.
A great statement. You just forgot the word Jew.
The Holocaust Remembrance Day, the part that he didn't remember was to put the word Jew in the official declaration by the vice president's office. And it's hard to believe that that was an accident.
What is hard to believe is that there are people defending that and again getting angry that's being pointed out. It's like, well, wait a minute, Holocaust. I mean, I thought that was the one very specific thing.
No, sorry,
but
bro.
it's like,
sorry.
No, we forgot that. Anyway, yeah, let me get finish these out.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
We've got Flea Speech at the Rumble Rant saying English for beginners, just one of many Fab, O'Hara, and Martin skits. R.I.P. Sweet Catherine, a Canuck icon. Jack White, here again. Continue on Soros. Again, they were doing that before the Nazis came marching in. Seems when it comes to Soros and his family, criminality runs in the blood.
Could be. I don't know how they got that far in terms of hooking up with the Einstein's group and working with the Nazis, but apparently they felt comfortable with them.
Yeah, more Jack White, just like Pelosi, Biden, the Cheneys, the Bushes, the Clintons, criminality runs in the blood with these people. Yeah, it's grift. I don't know if you saw. A lot of people hate Jeremy Boring, the Daily Wire and all that, but I do encourage everybody to, I haven't gotten through all of it, but Trigonometry did an interview with him. He's been kind of out in the wilderness for a while now, and he came back and really said some interesting things. He was talking about the grift economy and how, you know, there's people who are cynical and could absolutely profit off grifting, etc. Let me see. Charlie Flo, how many people in LA dress as Batman?
Well, if you go over by Mann's Chinese Theater, you'll see every single superhero fighting each other for grifting tourists who give, somehow the tourists give them money for just dressing up as these superheroes. And it's in a couple of documentaries, but it's kind of funny. Superman had some problems a number of years ago. He lived in this rundown studio apartment around the corner from the Chinese Theater. The whole world of superheroes that work the theater circuit is, if you live here, you know quite a bit about it. And they're all kind of dirty looking. They're kind of living, you know, at one point, I think Superman was living with Charlie Chaplin and Marilyn Monroe in the same rundown studio apartment. Now, Marilyn Monroe's house, now that I mentioned Marilyn Monroe, her house in Brentwood was purchased recently by a couple, and they want to tear down the house and build a new house. And the city said, we're fine with that. What do we care? It's a private purchase for you, who paid $8.3 million for Marilyn Monroe's house. And Marilyn Monroe's house in Brentwood has had a number of owners over the years. It's not really anything special. So these people bought the house. They want to tear it down and build a new house. And the city, under Karen Bass, after they bought the house, declared it a city historic monument, and preventing them now from tearing it down. So they're suing Karen Bass, this is in the paper today, for preventing them from tearing down the house that they approved could be torn down by the city before they purchased it. They weren't that stupid, Eric. After they purchased it, the city is announcing it's a historic site, won't let them tear it down. And the reason they're citing in the lawsuit is the tons of tours and looky-loos that the city makes money from the tourist buses that go by Marilyn Monroe's house as part of the celebrity late tour guide tours, Gray Line and others. Wow.
I'm not surprised at all. All right, G. Warren, 512 with the Rumble Rant. Mark, being on the spectrum that I am, I'm confused as to why there is a chair in front of the door in the background. But
Only
more curiously,
people ask that.
why is the door open?
That's right. And that's for you to think about tonight when you go to bed. Think about it all night, bro, because there's a dark secret to that whole thing that I'm not going to, hip you to, but you're on to something.
All right. Well, William Ratcliffe.
I like Ratcliffe.
And Trump is handing out building permits for Palisades.
Yeah, well, not exactly. I mean, Lee Zeldin is going to somehow, I don't know how this is going to work. He's going to somehow speed the process of getting building permits to these people. They will do everything possible to throw every single thing at them to prevent this. So it's not just an edict that can just be carried out by executive order.
Well, Nick Giusti with this super chat, I have to say, I used to like you. Regardless of the shit show going on in my state of Minnesota, those people in Virginia are truly screwed. Walz is out soon. That chick is just getting started.
He's right. When he says that
Damn.
chick, he means a former CIA agent,
yes,
who somehow stumbled into the governorship. And again, as I've suggested for many, many years, people from the intelligence world should not and could not and must not, by law, be allowed to run for office and become our rulers after they leave the intelligence services.
I mean, nice. And Nick Giusti, trying to redeem himself for such a terrible comment, said, "Happy Friday. Like and subscribe. Do it." We like that. I don't want to hear about Spamberger. Unfortunately, she's borrowing from Trump and has more executive orders than anybody's ever seen in a blistering fashion, flooding the zone. And
Interesting.
It's sickening.
That's a Spamberger. Okay, go ahead.
Taylor Pollock, always look forward to hearing your commentary. Mark, we hope you get the job as a Dodger commentator. You'll do great. Wear that suit to the interview.
Well, first of all, it's not a Dodger commentator. That would be the greatest job of all time. I'm just thinking about putting in my resume to be a reporter, as a Dodger beat reporter, among others, for the New California Post. I've covered the Dodgers for the LA Weekly. I covered the Dodgers for the Los Feliz Ledger, and I would love to do it again. I don't know if I've got the energy to pull it off. It's kind of a tough job, but it would be fun. Commentator would be the greatest job of all time. That I would kill for, but that's not what I was discussing.
All right, Stephen Greco. That sounds scary. Love you, gents. Scumbags at YouTube double charged me for super chats on 5 times recently on your channel.
Wow.
I want my money to go to you and not corporate rats. Money is coming your way. I reported and got double charges back from YouTube.
Oh, right on.
Hopefully that doesn't mean we're going to
right on, Greco. Way to fight the man, sticking it to the man.
I hope though that we're not in case that all of a sudden there's deficits on our channel coming up.
Yeah.
So we may get hit for those. Well, let's hope not. Oh boy. Jelly Donut 11 saying, will Sig Sauer take blame for their faulty firearms?
Well, you'd have to individually sue them, and I understand that there are previous lawsuits about. What I understand is there's no safety above the trigger, like the Beretta that I have. That the safety is right there on the trigger, above the trigger. Put it that way, and the Sig Sauer doesn't have that.
That's part. There's more to it. Like if there's any misalignment or whatever, you can squeeze the side apparently, and it'll go off. It's gone off many times, but the problem is we don't even know that actually did go off.
We don't know.
They need to, go.
There's going to be an investigation, right? Eric?
Exactly.
Right.
So
we can't even.
We don't know.
We don't know. There's no point in speculating anymore.
Well, the funny part about it is that they could technically know immediately. First off, is there a bullet missing from that gun? Was it fired? Smell. Do a GSR test on the agent's hand that had pulled the gun out, because it would be on his hand. So, I mean, I'm sure they know.
Well, what's his name? The FBI director said all of this is happening, as Eric mentioned, at Quantico. So they've already done all of this stuff at Quantico, and they will eventually release a report. They already know the answers to what Eric said.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think so. All right. Well, we are going to continue this discussion over on Locals, where, as usual, you can join, become a free member, or better still, become a paid supporter and help support us get access to the 5-part audio drama on Oswald, the LBJ audio drama, multiple PDFs of really rare books that are near impossible to find. It gives you the ability to post yourself. So there's a lot of like-minded people. So you can not only post yourself to there, but you can comment. You can read the comments. You can comment there. You can comment in the chat. There's a private chat that's there, been going the whole time. A lot of options available, and it really does help us a lot. Hope you consider it. But if anything, go join for free. I mean, it's free. Can't hurt that bad. And I hope to see you there. If we don't see you there, well, Mark, when will you see them?
Oh, we'll see you next Tuesday. But that